barrier goes down, and I mean, this is like straight up cliche stormtroopers shooting.
Yep.
You have you're facing 5 people with guns, and they're missing everything. All 200 soldiers coming from each direction.
They lost
Every
the
single
war
direction.
for a reason, dude.
Hey everyone, my name's Nick.
And I'm Ray. And today we're going to be talking about The Foundation, episodes 1 through 5 of season 1. Gotta say, I'm actually a fan of the show thus far.
I agree. I think this was like surprisingly good. I've heard of the books, Foundation, right? So I knew like super surface level. I just understood like, okay, math equals magic and they can tell the future. That's like basically all I knew about the show whatsoever, or the story whatsoever. And I didn't even know that they made it into a show. So for me, not having ever heard of it, I was so surprised when I saw how great the graphics were, how amazing all the costume design was. Like each of the characters from different civilizations had different costume designs. They looked like they were from different cultures, and it was just surprisingly good.
Yeah, I gotta say, sci-fi doesn't really get budget, right? And when it does, it's J.J. Abrams, so it's the same thing every time, which you might like, you might not, who knows? But either way, he has a style. This was big budget without J.J. Abrams, with a story written by Isaac Asimov, however you say his name. I probably butchered it. It's fine. Point is, it's written by a legendary sci-fi author, so a little bit worried, right? That it was gonna be not great. But yeah, the VFX, oh my god, so good. Apple really hit it out of the park with it, I think. Yep. The acting is pretty great. I love Jared Harris. Can't go wrong with them, ever. Great actor. Lee Pace. We got King Thandriel there from The Hobbit, playing Empire. It's and he does a great job being an arrogant emperor, who throughout the first 5 episodes already is showing some differences between his, Cleon, whatever it was, versus Cleon the current. And
which would make sense even if you are clones, that there is going to be differences because of how you're raised, right?
Yeah, and I think he's doing a great job showing those subtle differences.
Yeah. And might I say too, I really like that idea of like the 3 emperors ruling together, and they're all the same clone of the guy, right? But it's like, I don't know, it's cool. It's like, oh, you have the child who's naive, and then the not middle-aged, but the middle-aged of the 3 who's just super arrogant, and then the eldest who's supposed to be like wisdom, right? It's a really cool idea.
Yeah, and all of them do a really good job, especially Brother Dusk versus the first Brother Dusk we saw, the dying Brother Dusk. And then the current Brother Dusk at the end of episode 5, right? Remember, this is episodes 1 through 5.
Yeah. And whenever he's dying, he's no longer Brother Dusk, right? He's Brother Dark?
Dead. Brother Dead.
I thought it was Brother Dark or Brother Night or something like that.
Brother Laser Beamed.
Exactly. Yeah.
I forget the term for it, but
that was a really cool scene.
Oh my god. Yeah, so cool. And Demerzal, right? She's a robot. We saw that a little bit. Apparently all the robots are dead. So why is she still there? Well, because Cleon and her looks like they kind of loved each other a little bit. At least that's what I garnered from it. And it's definitely interesting to see how Brother Laser Beamed brings that up to her. He's like, were we not enough? Because like, we can tell something's not right. Something's missing. And she would be the one to know.
And I mean, you mentioned it, the differences between each of them. And she, of course, yes, I agree. I felt, and it feels like there was this setup for what was a romantic relationship. But yeah, they're different. They're not the same person. Even though they are clones of that person that she was in a romantic relationship, allegedly, they are different.
Now, how about, I just want to point out, let's hit some spectacles up real quick, right?
Okay.
We'll get to the storyline in a second, some spectacles, because I really want to hit home some of the VFX here. The Star Bridge. Such a cool looking thing in general, right? Even when it's working. And then its collapse was so well executed. Seeing it fall, power goes out, fire slowly climbing along where it's falling. And the Anacreons and Thespins, man, I felt bad for them. That orbital bombardment they got, each of their planets. Holy shit.
I mean, what a fast way to make me absolutely hate Brother Day. And it's like Brother Dusk, he really is fulfilling the role of wisdom in this trio, right? And he is giving good wisdom, and then he's just like, no, dude, you messed up on your watch. Like, I'm not going to listen to you. It's just, man,
Yeah.
not taking the wisdom where you should.
Yeah,
So,
it's the callback to it too from Brother Day, the one that
Yeah.
bombed it, and then the brother Don at the time, who was like, "I'm scared," goes
Yeah.
back later. He's like, "I know that's what you wanted to hear because I know you wanted to bomb him, even though Dusk laser beamed, was motioning for
Yeah.
peace, or not peace, but like mercy, a little bit of grace." It was great callbacks there.
Yes.
Oh my God, it just all in all was good. And then the newest brother Dawn, well, when brother Laserbeamed went to get laser beamed, he was like, "Wait, there's something wrong with the new Dawn." And then they ignore it, and that brother Dawn tried to just kill himself a little bit. He wanted that rush. Did all the others? I don't think so, or else they probably wouldn't have made it such a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's hit some story beats. I like episode 1 so much, honestly.
It's really good.
The little flashback it starts with. Cool, right? You see what happens with the vaults, the null barrier, right?
Yep.
Or whatever it's called. And you're like, whoa, something's weird here. And that chick just pulled him out from it. Was she affected by it? Right? But it didn't really say. And then it cuts to the current time. Gale is getting sent away. And it looks like not in a positive manner, right? And she takes out her stone. She's no longer a seer. She goes there, meets this weird guy who we find out later is a spy, right? Which, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Expecting that, especially when we find out they were watching Selden. And then Selden, she meets him, steals the scene for me. Fucking, again, I can't get over Jared Harris. I love him. He's a great actor, man. His voice is awesome. And immediately he's like, "Hey, so welcome. Good job. We're getting arrested. So
Yeah, I know.
have fun."
That was so crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. I don't know. I feel like maybe they could have postponed that a little bit, like given a little more time together, because he immediately tells her, "Hey, I'm getting arrested, and because I invited you here, you're probably getting arrested too. So be on my side, please." And then all of a sudden she's on his side after like this 5-minute encounter. I just felt like it needed a little more.
Well, she wasn't on his side at
rapport.
first, right?
No?
I mean, she was hesitant, but then the spy gave her the Prime Radiant to look at, and then she did all the math and saw, wait, he is kind of telling the truth here. And she's a math person who just got exiled from her planet in a way for believing in math. So maybe she was like, fuck it, we're full in on math, right?
Yeah.
So I could see that. And that's what he was gambling on.
I guess in retrospect, yeah. At the time when you're watching it, you don't really know the extent of why she's there. Like, yeah, he kind of comments like, "Oh, you left your home planet with a bounty on your head," or something similar to that, right? So yeah, we knew she didn't leave on good terms, but we didn't know the extent of it. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was really cool. The thing is, like, overall, whenever I'm looking at the story, I'm much less compelled by the math story than I am by the what's the planet called that has the
Trantor? Or Terminus?
Trantor. Whichever one has the vault on it.
Terminus.
Like, that storyline is so much cooler and more interesting at this point. I want to know what's going on with that and what's going on with the vault, and I don't really care what's going on with Gale at this point in the story, right? In the first 5.
Yeah. See, for the first 5 for me, my favorite storyline was definitely anything whenever Empire came into play.
Yeah, he was really cool.
That the Empire world view, right? That perspective to me was
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons that I don't necessarily care about Gale and about the Foundation at this point is it's like the whole purpose of the Foundation is because they want to save the Empire, right?
Yeah.
And I don't really like the Empire. Like, the only things I've really seen is him murdering a planet full of people because you have 2 suicide bombers that destroy this giant space station, right?
They did the Thespian war cry.
Yeah. So
and
you
Anacreon,
just
so
blame whoever's on hand.
Well, you heard
right?
Dusk say it. He was like, I believe you both. I do, but
yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, Day
dude.
doesn't believe. Day wants to put it on your head, so it's gonna happen.
Somebody's got to pay, and no one's fessing up. So have fun.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think as a combination of that, because the vault is so interesting and cool, and then because while I do like the Empire story, I think it's really cool what's going on. I don't necessarily want them
to be saved.
to be saved. Yeah, so it's like the foundation is just like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah. It's like in real life, you know, you're like, yo, that country sucks. It's not the people that suck though.
Yeah.
It's the government that sucks.
Yeah.
With the empire, the government sucks. I'm sure there's a lot of people that suck, but
Yeah.
it's the government that sucks.
Yeah, and I guess now that we see in episode 5, you know, you see this enemy coming in and all they want to do is mass murder everybody for revenge. It's like, okay, now maybe the tables kind of turn because it's not about bringing down the trio, the emperors,
Yeah.
right? It's about killing everybody for revenge. And it's like, okay, is it deserved? Kind of, but that's definitely not right. You don't kill innocents because the leaders killed innocents. Like, that's
Agreed. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, if I'm in Day's position, man, when my star bridge falls and kills 100 million of my citizens, oh, I'm pissed. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
sure.
yeah, somebody's getting carpet bombed, right? Somebody is. However, we're going to find out who first.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
We're not just going to start bombing. Yeah.
You can't just after like a week of investigating be like, all right, that's it.
Yeah. I also don't know if I would bomb a whole planet. That's a little much.
That is, it's
You know.
it's big. But whenever you're interplanetary, like interstellar beings, like I mean, if all you have is nukes, you're gonna use nukes, I guess.
I mean, there's what, tens of trillions of citizens in the galaxy that are known? What's 100 million, right?
yeah,
It's a lot
And-
still. I mean, what are we
Yeah.
talking about? Actually, that's so many.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
And what's I was whenever I saw the what's it, the Star Bridge, is that what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I saw the Star Bridge for the first time, I'm like, man, would that even work? Like physically,
it does.
With how do they have their world standing still? Because man, with the rotation of that, it's like,
actually,
holy.
turns out that's a real concept. And we could build, for example, on Earth, we could build a space elevator, but it has to go into orbit. And the Earth's rotation, basically, the centrifugal force, I can't speak,
Yeah.
keeps it straight. So if
Okay.
the Earth slows or that
It's-
speeds,
Yeah.
it'll fall. But if you balance it perfect, it'll be perfect the whole time.
That's funny.
It's a real thing in physics. I probably explained it poorly, but it is a real thing that's doable.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, man, I feel like the spinning, it would, if you
Actually
have
helps keep
something
it
up
in
here.
place. It's crazy. Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, whenever it falls and then dust goes into like all of the wreckage, it's like, man, what a really cool scene.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that I don't want to say dislike, one thing that I thought was a little bit annoying was all the time jumping that happened. There was a number of times where we're jumping 34 years in the past, 5 years in the future, 10 more years in the future, and then it's just timelines are getting a little not skewed, but I really have to keep track of that.
You get a pen and paper.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta like write it down for myself. Like, okay, this person's in this time period, this
Yeah.
one's in this one, and then okay, now they're all meeting 34 years later.
Yeah, the second rewatch, I mean, this is a rewatch for me. It's definitely a lot easier for me to follow it, but I remember the first time I was like, wait, what Cleon are we on right now?
Yeah.
Where are we at in the timeline, right?
Yeah.
Like, because cryosleep's a thing and everything, so you're
Mhm.
like, but
Yeah.
it
had
gets
this same-
better about it further along on that, so
Yeah.
don't worry about that too much.
I got you. I had this same thing with Witcher season 1. Whenever they had very skewed timelines, it's like after the fact. Yeah, it's fantastic and it looks great, and I get it. But while it's gone, I have to really think about it.
Now, here you go. Ration Selden. What are your thoughts there?
I wish there was a little more development between him and Harry, because I understand they tell you, oh, he raised him as if he were his son.
Yeah.
But I didn't really see a great relationship with them. The only thing I really saw was him being mad at Harry. So I wish they would have taken a little more time to develop that. But
For sure. And then he just murders him, right?
Yeah.
Gail walks in on him, and
Yep.
he's very weird about it and sends her away.
and then in the recording of the execution, he's like, he knows that she will watch it or be watching it and is speaking to her.
And what are his final words?
You can fix it without knowing the final piece or
The
something
one
like
right
that.
before that, right?
I don't
Have
know.
faith in the
What-
plan. Don't lose
Oh.
faith in the plan.
Yeah.
Right? The plan is Selden's work. Why would you say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Well, anywho, enough of that. We'll move forward. I don't want to spoil anything.
In episode 4, I thought it was really funny. You know, there's this whole big standoff, and I didn't like this standoff between the 5 people with guns for the Foundation and the 200 soldiers.
What do you mean? Why not?
It just, I don't know, it felt really stupid.
I mean,
Like,
because it was.
Yeah, it felt so stupid. And then whenever the shields go down, and man, this is like some metagaming. I don't know what's going on with this, right? What's her name? The warlord? Huntress, right? The Huntress lady she gets captured, but she gets captured on purpose, not really knowing that, just to get inside of the force field to then do an EMP in the tower. Like, that seems like some metagaming stuff right there, because that requires a lot to go right.
Yes, it does. But they were desperate. They were desperate. You heard Warden
so.
Salvor Hardin toss a coin to her Witcher and say, I know all about you. I know everything about you. Look, I'm going to say this. And this is one of the biggest gripes I had with that storyline. I wasn't a huge fan of Salvor Hardin. I didn't think the actress did super, super well in season 1.
Yeah.
Season 2, she got so much. Oh my God, she's killing it. She's crushing it in season 2. I just want to point that out. There's not a spoiler. How could it be? I'm just saying the actress. Oh my God, leveled up.
You're complimenting her acting abilities.
Yeah, and rewatching season 1, like seeing her in season 2, definitely I was like, okay, I'm better with it, now. But yeah, Salvor flips a coin. I got your past, man. What's up? And actually gets in that chick's brain a little bit. Mm-hmm. The fight was weird.
Yes. And it's really funny whenever the barrier goes down, and I mean, this is like straight up cliche stormtrooper shooting.
Yep.
You're facing 5 people with guns, and they're missing everything. All 200 soldiers coming from each direction.
They lost the war for a reason, dude.
That's true, I guess. Yeah. They're miss everything.
You know what? To be fair, they all have like super cancer of some sort, from the bombings. So gotta cut them some slack.
All right.
A little bit.
Right. Maybe all of their good warriors died in the explosion. So now this is just all the civilians dressed up in all the gear.
Yeah, it's like farmers and shit.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Maybe, I don't know. That's one way to fill that hole.
That's my head lore to make them missing everything okay.
And then the fight between Salvo and the Grand Huntress was just really weird. And then she just brings her up and is holding her, and her mom's just kind of standing there like.
It was funny whenever she's like talking crap about her mom. She's like, you were just telling me to get down, right? That wasn't real.
You did a good job.
Yeah, it doesn't answer.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously she was bad mouthing her, so that was funny.
Yeah, but yeah, all in all, I love the storylines it's setting up. It's setting up, and obviously, the big takeaways here, right? The storyline 1, Empire storyline, right, is setting up something to do with what? What would you say?
I mean, obviously, it's setting up because they're still alive 34 years later, whenever the impending doom was foreseen by Harry. Right?
Yeah, but he gave him 400 years.
Oh, did he? I didn't hear that part where it's 400 years.
He gave him 400 years in the tribunal.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess it's just setting up how that happens, and probably by the hands of this new weird, like, shifting of the clones, right? So the first Dusk that we saw, he seemed like a nice guy, reminiscing about the past and how he's kind of separating from the original, and then we see the next guy and he's separating even further and further, and then we see the Dawn he's real weird, trying to kill himself, being I don't know, weird with the groundskeeper girl. It's like, he's just
something that was brought up, right? And this is what I saw on the first watch as well, right? And I remember it because I'm like, that's such a cool thing. They're setting up for the main storyline here. Selden brings in that difference matters, right? That a clone of the same grape, You know, it's the
Yep.
same grapes. There's no ability to evolve, right? Is really the theme of the story for Empire, right? It's going to go through, and the reason I say this is because it is going through days and dusks and dawns, right? And it's hard to connect with one character, but it's trying to get you to connect with that concept, I think, more than anything, right?
Yeah. And I mean, he says, right, he tells them, if you want to save the Empire, abolish this emperorship.
Yep.
And you'll be able to save your legacy rather than just what this is.
And we see Dusk and Dawn kind of contemplate it, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit. They're like, oh, well, you know, actually some shit is, he might be right a little bit on that.
At the very least, the original Dusk the first Dusk that we saw, he definitely was like, yeah, that kind of seems like. And that's where I thought, like, I almost thought whenever he went down to see the baby, and then when he's holding the newest Dawn right before he dies, I was like, oh shit, is he gonna kill this baby right now? He's gonna do it.
But we even see it with the current day, where he is going to go to the religious stronghold. God, I forget the name of that place. Because 3 trillion of his citizens are going to go away. And he tells him, he's like, you know what? I mean, Harry Seldon was kind of right. We've grown complacent. So I'm going to go be the emperor that our original was.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to go take care of this. You stay here and clean up the mess you made. And that's him kind of taking Seldon's shit to heart. And Seldon's plan already, right? His manipulations, his machinations are maybe affecting the outcome in the way he had predicted. Then we see Demerzel, and we're getting a lot of information about how the AI robot wars happened, right? So why did they keep her? I don't know. Demerzel is a key character to watch for, I think, too. Now, the next storyline, you have Gale, Harry, and Raish. We'll just kind of lump them together, right? And Gale is going to Helicon, right? What's going on with her? Chick from Synax, super smart, like so smart. Second smartest person in the galaxy, maybe the smartest. And it's her kind of battling something, really finding her purpose in the plan, I feel like, you know, and she's getting put in a position that she wasn't supposed to be at.
Yeah. At this point in the story, I'm like, I understand that's for sure going to be like the main storyline that's being built up and is like, I mean, she's the one who's going to go forward and try to keep the plan, right?
She's the protagonist.
Yeah, so she's the main character. But at this point, that storyline in the first 5 episodes that I've watched of season 1, that's just the most uninteresting one, just because of like everything else being so much more interesting. Empire's freaking awesome. The Vault is so much more mysterious than her just counting numbers and thinking of prime numbers. Like, okay, I saw into the prime number and it showed me something. Like, okay,
that's just it. It's like when Gale was on screen, Seldon was there, and for me, Seldon steals the scenes. So yeah, there's a lot of build-up that needs to happen for her to have her storyline properly start. Right now it's like in that prologue for her.
And that's fine because there's 2 other cool ones going on simultaneously. I'm fine if 2 out of the 3 are awesome and that third one is like, oh, we're building it. This is going to be the main one eventually, but right now it's just building.
And then that final storyline, right? Terminus. Salvor Hardin seems to be the main character for this one, right? And she has an interesting special ability where that null field does not affect her, which is super interesting.
So it doesn't affect her, period, or it is just not as effective? Oh.
At all.
So how has she gone up to? Does it say she's gone up to it at this point?
Yeah, her mom talks about it. How when she was 4 years old, she was sitting right under the vault, touching it, and she was fine.
She hasn't gone up there since.
No, she still walks around. I mean, she saves people that go. Like,
well, I know, I do see that, but she never goes actually. Up
we
to
don't
the
see
vault.
her do it. No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize that. I thought that she was just like semi-immune to it, where she's like better, and then
immune
eventually she's gonna push through that and get to it. No, she's full-on immune. Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize
Which is weird, right?
Yeah, she's different.
She is different, and she is really good at reading people, it seems, and is the only person that wants to take action on that colony, right?
Yep.
Which I could see that colony acting that way completely fine. Oh yeah, just trust the plan. Trust the plan, guys. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then that guy's like, "You're not accounted for. You're not in the plan." Maybe she is the plan, motherfucker. You ever thought of that one? You know. So that storyline, and then the Anacreons coming, and then the Imperium showing up to help, but then not doing great. Doing terrible
shot down
immediately. Yeah, like what? It was a super interesting 5 episodes, and at the end of episode 5, we're left with a huge cliffhanger. Who shows up?
Oh, the hologram of Harry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Selden
That was
shows
weird.
up.
Is that's not real Selden, right?
Who knows?
Okay, I mean it like warped. I was like, oh, this is
It's not
AI.
physical body.
Okay.
Selden. No, but it's obviously a hologram of him.
Right.
In pain.
34 years ago, whenever he got stabbed.
And it was dramatic enough to be like,
Yeah, it was weird. It was definitely weird. I was like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah. So episode 6, I hope you're ready.
I am. I'm excited to go forward and see what else happens.
I gotta say, all in all, this show, for what was going to be, I thought, like Firefly. It's an amazing sci-fi show. Its budget was fucking terrible. Right. This has way more of a serious tone than Firefly ever could. But I really like it so far. I like the interweaving storylines. I think they're playing well together. The VFX is fucking killer. The acting is pretty well done across the board. And you know what it's not? The Wheel of Time.
And I'm still on the first half, so this could change for me. It's been a while since I've seen a high budget show that I like.
Yeah.
like Wheel of Time, Witcher season 3 now, Witcher prequel, the
Lord of the Rings,
Rings of Power, all of them. I just hated them all.
Yeah.
And now finally getting something that I like. So I hope it progresses and it keeps going for the next 5. With your talking it up, I'm feeling that it will, and I have high hopes for it, but we'll see how I feel at the end.
Yeah. For anyone watching, if you're hesitant about starting the show, right? A, sorry we spoiled a lot for you there. But B, watch it. I promise you'll like it. Nick got Apple TV just for this, right? I was like, dude, trust me, it'll be a good show. Right, we had just reviewed The Witcher, Blood Origins, and 3. Check out those videos. You'll see our thoughts. They're not great. So I was like, you know what? Let's do something that's good. Let's do something that I think he would enjoy, that I know I enjoy. Let's hit Foundation up. Check it out. I think it's a great show. Episodes 1 through 5, they pulled me in. They really did. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on it. You got any final closing thoughts?
Apple, you need to step up your damn game with creating a login. This was ridiculous. Why the heck? I've got my iPhone, I've got my iCloud account, and for some reason I need to create an iTunes account associated with that iCloud. What the heck is this? So I gotta go out of my way, download iTunes, create an account, try to sign in. It doesn't work. They need to step that up. The show was great. The show's great so far.
I have Apple TV, the box, so it just worked.
Yeah, I had to download it on my PS5, and it was a nightmare. And if it wasn't for this video, I swear I would have given up, and they would have lost me. So fix that. Fix it. Please,
Make it
Apple.
easier, Apple, please.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, with that, check out Foundation. Check out our other videos below. Hit like, hit subscribe. Come on. Just do the thing. With that, Ray, out.
Thanks for watching. Hey, Nick here. If you enjoyed this video, please gently caress that like button for us.
And Ray, thanks for watching. It was a blast. Make sure to hit that subscribe if you want to stay up to date with what we're doing. What me and him are doing. There. Me and him. Nick and Ray. Subscribe.